Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, The Francophile Reader. It's been a long time since I've filmed, so I am making this video to ease myself back into filming and also to ease myself back into booktube. I have been watching booktube videos, but obviously I have not been uploading. And I also want to see how I can get back into the booktube community. Think about what kind of events I'd like to participate in 2021. One of the events I always want to participate in is Nonfiction November. And in a sense, I definitely participated because I read a lot of nonfiction in November as I was preparing to write and then defend my dissertation proposal. If you don't know, I am a PhD student in French literature and I am in the proposal stage of my program. In the United States, doctoral programs are 5 years at the very minimum. People tend not to finish in 5 years, but the reason why they're so long is because the first couple years you have to take classes. So I took my classes and then I took my qualifying exams. I passed that. Just yesterday I defended my proposal. So all of November I was reading a lot of nonfiction, very niche nonfiction, monographs, articles, etc. I guess you could say that I was participating in nonfiction November, but I wasn't able to read any popular nonfiction and I wasn't officially participating. But I just want to say that I really like what Olive does every November, and maybe next November I will be able to actually participate properly. But yes, I have been reading quite a bit, but I've never felt that I can really talk about what I'm reading because it is so specific. A book that I did read, however, is a clean romance that has been made into a Hallmark movie. It was published in the 1980s. It is a Debbie Maycomber romance called Mrs. Miracle, and I read it, I think in November, and it was exactly what I wanted it to be. You know, it's a very traditional romance set in this small town. There's a Christmas pageant. It was very cozy, and it reminded me of a Hallmark movie, and it has been made into a Hallmark movie. I haven't actually seen the Hallmark movie, but I'd like to at some point. Yeah, it was just fun, it was a break, and it was certainly not anything serious. And I'm currently reading a Mary Higgins Clark book. I forgot the title, so I will put it on the screen. Again, these are grocery store novels. They are fun, they're escapist, and honestly, I'm actually quite impressed by these kinds of books because they bring the authors a lot of money and they are highly entertaining. In the case of Mary Higgins Clark, I feel like her writing is such that it doesn't really bring attention to itself. It's really about the storytelling, and I actually find her books to be just really great. I am not usually a thriller reader, but the thrillers that I have read by her, I find to be really good. But again, I'm not maybe the person to ask about the quality of her thrillers, since I am not usually a thriller reader. I would like to read more historical crime novels, historical mysteries, particularly in 2021. I think that would be a lot of fun. And not just the Brother Cadfael novels, which I have, of course, been reading off and on for the past year. I'd like to find others, bonus points if they take place in the 16th century. Now, as for my read-along of The Three Musketeers, I have abandoned that book for a while, and it's nothing to do with Dumas' novel. I think the novel is really great, and I was really enjoying it, but I didn't have time to read a large historical fiction novel while I was preparing for my proposal, and I don't know about these live streams. The fact of the matter is that I simply do not upload enough to have a community that I can trust to attend my live streams. And it's not the community's fault at all. I'm simply just not plugged into booktube. So, you know, I don't get any views, and it's just weird to have a live stream when no one's watching. So I think I'm just gonna finish the novel at some point and make a final video about that. And I think in general I'm going to abandon live streams in 2021. I always appreciate everyone who does interact on all of my videos. And I'm glad to see that people find my videos helpful. I know a lot of people who do come across my channel come across it through particular videos that I've made on certain French authors like Balzac, maybe because they are preparing for an exam or they're trying to, get an idea of what the novel is about. And that's fine. I understand that I generally have an educational channel, and that means that most of the people watching my videos aren't subscribers. That's what I have created, and I'm going to continue to embrace that in 2021 and make videos that will be helpful to some people, but also maybe interesting also to people who are subscribed. Academic writing is really challenging. It is a different kind of writing than novelists do, but not tremendously different. I think that writing is writing. I have watched a lot of author tubers talk about fiction writing, and I do find that certain elements are common to academic writing. But the book that I have read relatively recently that has helped me a lot in thinking about how to do academic writing is Rewriting by Joseph Harris. Now, this is a fantastic book, at least in terms of its content. Unfortunately, whoever the proofreader was on leave because there are tons of typos in this book. But Rewriting talks about how academics position their own arguments in relation to the arguments of other authors. So that's what this book is about. It's about how we make moves with respect to the work of other authors, because that is what a scholar does. A scholar, when you read any kind of monograph or article, there's always the literature review section where past scholarship that's relevant is mentioned, and then the scholar has to show that they are doing something different, that they are making a new argument, that they are building on somebody else's argument, or maybe they are contradicting somebody else's argument, or maybe they're applying a theory in a new context. And these are all the kinds of moves that academics make, because contrary to how research is talked about in popular culture, academic research and just research in any discipline is about discovering something new. It's about saying something new. It's not just about Googling something and finding the answer, because if the answer can be found, then it's not research. You're not contributing to scholarship. And this is something that I had to learn to do to write a proposal. I needed to look at what is already out there about 16th century martyrologies, because I'm interested in martyrdom in the 16th century, a very cheery topic, as well as heresy prosecution. Again, another very cheery topic. So I had to know what is out there, and then I need to develop a new angle on it or new questions. And I was successfully able to do that, but it was hard. And there were times when, admittedly, I considered quitting the program. Joseph Harris's book really helped me through it. And so I was able to move forward and develop my own questions and my own angle on the subject. Some books that I would like to read over winter break, this is a history. It's The Rise and Fall of Renaissance France by R.J. Knecht. It is a book that has been recommended to me by a number of professors. It is a bit old. I mean, it's not tremendously old, and evidently it's not dated. I've learned French Renaissance history through reading monographs, so I always have this very narrow focus, and I'm just like looking at it in this fragmented way. Whereas here is a comprehensive overview of Renaissance France. So I will be reading that. And then I will finally read the Thomas Cromwell trilogy by Hilary Mantel. I started reading Wolf Hall a few years ago and abandoned it. Now I just feel like, since I work on the 16th century, though I work on France and not England, I really should read the Thomas Cromwell trilogy just to see how a novelist deals with this period, and especially because it does deal with heresy prosecution. At least in part, it also deals with a lot of politics. So I think that it'll be an interesting experience. I must admit that I have often found Hilary Mantel to be a bit off-putting. Her interviews, I think she comes across as very arrogant, and that's just very, it's off-putting. It's not something that necessarily encourages me to read her books, but everyone praises her novels, and I'm sure that they are really good. So I look forward to reading the trilogy, and I'd like to read all 3 books over winter break, but at least I'd like to read Wolf Hall and come back and share my thoughts about how she represents different figures. So those are the 2 that I have in mind, in addition to other scholarly things that I will be reading. If you want some winter recommendations, book recommendations, I made a video last year that I recommend if you want more older classics, especially some French literature. I think that you might find the video really helpful, and I stand by all of my recommendations. I was thinking about actually making a video this year, and then I realized I'd already made a video last year, and watching that video back, I stand by all of the recommendations. You know, it really sums up the books that I have found to be the most wintry and the most Christmassy. So yes, this is my rambly video as I try to get back into booktube, and I hope to be making my favorite books of 2020 video by the end of the year. So I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday. Thank you everybody for watching, and I will talk to you later. Bye now.